Hi, first grade families. Welcome to Open House in our modified COVID style. So I wanted to just take you through some of the things that your first grader would be showing you if we were able to do this in person. So I'm going to flip the camera around here. So we start our morning usually on the smartboard, and we have a morning message that we read together. We talk about the date, the greeting, the closing, the signature, and of course the body of our message. It usually tells us what we're going to be doing today, any special events that are going on. And then we have our calendar where we drag the date over and put it in the spot. We talk about going up the column to see which day it is. Then next we have our yesterday, today, and tomorrow, where the kids, if you're name a day right now anyway, your kiddo will be moving these in the correct places. We keep track of how many days we've been at school, including our at-home days, along with the date. We also have been talking about units, ones and tens. Each day we're at school, we bring a 1 down, and then we have to change what our total is. We talk about what does 16 look like. Oh, it's 110 and 6 ones. We also try and arrange our 1 cubes over there, so it kind of looks like a 10 frame. So you can see we already have the top of the 10 frame filled, and we're starting on the second row. Once we get 10, we put them all back up here, and we exchange it for a 10 as 1 unit. Over here is another way we keep track of our days of the week, number of days in school. We just bring this over and plop it in where we need it to go. So as you can tell, today was our 16th day of school. And then we're tackling a little bit of money. So we have been talking about the dime, nickel, and penny so far, and filling these pockets with different ways to make 15. We've been talking also about how we could have 15 pennies in this pocket over here, but gosh, that's a lot of coins to have in our pocket. So we can do it in easier ways with not as much money. And then we write our amount here using the decimal point. We also look out our window every morning to decide if where we have our arrow is the correct spot, and then we check what the high temperature is for Prairie du Sac. Sometimes we talk about, ooh, yesterday it was 81 degrees, that's 1 degree more. What would that be, 82? Or, ooh, it's 10 degrees cooler. What is today's high going to be? Oh, it would be 72. So we do lots of talking about the numbers over here. And then we usually have a math talk. We've talked about this little hashtag here, also means number bonds. So the other day we did different combinations for 6. We've got 5 and 1, 4, 2, 3 and 3. We've been talking about doubles, 6 and zeros. We've also been talking about commutative property. The kids know that if we put the 1 first and then the 5, that's the commutative property. The 2 would go first, then the 4, and on and on. So that is how our calendar and number talks go. Next week, our number talks are not going to be so much on the number bonds, but they are going to be story problems that we will do together in the class. Then I want to walk over here. I have laid out all of the alphabet that we have gone through so far with our phonics program. And so if you look at each card, there is the sign language way to make the letter. And it goes along with the story that we talk about, telephone pole and idiom. We do the sounds. We cheer for the vowels. We've done I, A, and O so far. And we know that every word has to have a vowel. Sometimes there are little props we bring in for the nutcracker and the bumping ball. But we try and do 2 letters a day since we're not in school every day this year. So that is part of our phonics. Then we also have, I call this a chunk book. And so we've done it 1 time so far. My goal is once a week. So we were working on AP words, and it helps us with rhyming. If I know cap, then I know sap, tap, rap, map, nap, and a zap. And then we go through and we highlight what was the same, just noticing that rhyming words usually end with the same letters. So that's our phonics. Then writing we started this week. Last week we actually read this story, Night of the Veggie Monster. It's all about this young boy eating one pea, and he has like a fit trying to eat that one pea. And in the end of this story, it's kind of a surprise because he realizes, it's not so bad. So we talk about how we have seed stories, and then we can have watermelon stories. And I share the example of a watermelon story would be like going to the splash pad. Oh my gosh, when I went to the splash pad, I did the zip line. I played fetch with my dog. We ate underneath the pavilion. We ate lunch. And oh, my favorite squirting activity or whatever is the one where you can put your foot over the little spigot and you move it away and it splashes up. So we were talking about that whole day at the water park, or excuse me, splash pad. That would be a watermelon story, but a seed story could be each one of those. So we could write a book about, this is when I was playing fetch with my dog. This one over here could be having a picnic lunch underneath the little pavilion area. This could be the zip line. This could be that water feature that you can put your foot over and it will splash up in your face. And our goal is to have all kinds of little seed stories and not the big watermelon stories. So then over here, each first grader has a writing folder, and we just started writing it this week. So this happens to be Cora's. Cora is not done with her story yet, so she has it on the green go side. So next time she comes to school, she's going to open up her folder and say, oh, this is where I need to work on, what I need to finish up. And then the back pocket has the red. Red means stop. I think I'm done with these books, these stories. And we have all kinds of little tools in here to help us, remind us how to make our letters, which way letters go. This is a personal word wall. We have our big classroom word wall up here, but sometimes, like if you're writing a story about a hamster and you're the only one writing it, sometimes you might want to have hamster right here in your own personal word wall. So we'll write that in there. And then we have some common words for first grade and writing over here that students can refer to. Another trick that we do in here is if you have tried your best spelling a word and you're still not sure if it's right, you just underline it, and then any teacher who's reading it will look at that and say, oh, they must have tried their best. Look at that. It's fantastic. I'm going to switch to math now. I know you have seen the number cards coming home and the sleeves with activities on there. Most days at school, kids are putting their number cards in order. This is only part of this child's number cards. And then once they put them in order, their job is to touch each one and count so that they are seeing the number when they're saying it. They count forwards all the way. And then also the biggest thing in first grade is counting backwards. So you have to touch each card as you're counting backwards. And then they also do an activity using the flashcards, so the number cards. So this one, they would pick a number out of their bag. They would write down, like if this child picked 1, then they have to think, ooh, 1 plus 1 more, and what would it be? And then they pick the next card, and they would write it down and add 1 more, and what would it be? So that's one of the math activities that we do during the day. Then reading, we have reading at the very end of our day, and it's kind of fun because it's like choice time. So we do a lesson on the carpet, and then the kids can decide if they're going to work on their phonics packet, which is what this looks like. This came home a couple of weeks ago. It's just really good practice. It's all phonetics, or it has high frequency words in it that most kids should know by now, and just practice reading them and applying them. And it's nice because for the most part it's independent, which is what students need to be able to do at the beginning of the year, have some independence. So they could choose to work on their phonics packet, or they could choose to write in their writing journal. I call this one work on writing. So they know they can write the date up here. They can write about anything they want. When we were over there talking about writing and these seed stories, those are small moments. Those are things that really did happen to them. Like we won't write about unicorns when we're over here using our blue folder, but when you do work on writing during the reading time, you can write about butterflies and dinosaurs and unicorns if you want to. And the kids hand these in each day, and I read them, and I always write them a little note back, so there's a little bit of conversation going on back and forth with those two. So they can choose phonics packet, they can choose to work on writing, or they can choose their book box. So every 2 weeks, your kiddo gets new books in their book box, and this is where they're choosing the 2 that they take home each night. This week, we added our coaching sheet. Coaches help us when we're on a team, so this is going to be our helpful coach right here for reading. You point to the word. If you're not sure what it is, you get your mouth ready and say the first sound. And then you slide the sounds together to figure out the word. So there's going to be one of these in your child's book box, and then there's also going to be another one that is in their reading bag. Along with math, I think I showed this in the original video, that all of their math tools that they will need are in here. We have dice in here, we have Unifix cubes. This kiddo has their number cards in there. There's pattern blocks, all kinds of things we need for math. We're trying to keep right inside that little math pouch, we're calling it. So those are some of the things that your first grader would have been showing you had we been able to be here for open house this evening. So I hope you could get a little bit of a picture about what we do during our day. If you ever have any questions, please reach out through email or a note, and I will be happy to answer your questions or find the answer to your questions. Thank you again. Have a great evening. Bye.